Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. I know it's been a minute since I've been on here, but I want to talk about this new type of dungeon run that the game is introducing. So on Tuesday, April 27th, they're going to introduce a new type of dungeon content. It's going to be basically a 2x event for dungeon runs, which is kind of interesting. So I think it's actually a really great idea. Basically what's going to happen is starting Tuesday for 3 days, we're going to have a double the chance of dropping stun set artifacts from your Fire Knight runs. Now, this is a trial run, obviously, so if this is successful, I'm sure they're going to import this into other dungeons, different sets, that sort of thing. But this is a great way if you want to get stun sets to actually get as many as you can. I know, stun sets are not always useful in this game. It's kind of a niche kind of set. And it's a little bit different from other sets, right? Where, like, when you're doing an attack set or a speed set, the set doesn't really matter. It just adds to what you're trying to do. So you can get the same results by doing mixed set stuff. With a set like stun, however, you need all 4 pieces in order to get the real effect of it, which is an 18% chance to stun a target. Now, cool thing about stun sets, any of the artifact sets that provide debuffs, you don't need accuracy for them. They're just going to land regardless. So you don't actually have to kit your champions out any different. You just have to use stun artifacts on them. And I want to kind of talk today a little bit about what this means for players, especially newer game or mid-game players, also end-game too, though, and then provide a few champions that I think this really works best on and why. And then I'm also going to show you kind of a little bit of how I actually use stun sets, even as an end-game player today in Arena. So I'm going to talk about those things really quickly here. First, let me show you what this is going to look like. So the stun set's going to have a variety of little notices in the game. You'll see this thing here under the battle where it says Drop Frenzy. And that's just going to kind of show you, that's what this event is. It's a drop frenzy event, right? And you'll see it here. In this example, it's a 10 times event for accuracy artifacts. And here you can see it right in front of the dragon, so you know which dungeon it would be on top of. And here, even within the dragon, you can see exactly what that's supposed to look like. So there's a few different ways that you can see that in game. Now, this is going to be a 2x event, and it's going to be for stun sets. So just understand, those are just, mock-up images. But as far as, like, using these champions, we're going to have a variety of ways you're going to want to do this. Now, what I love when I'm using stun champions is I love having them on AoE champions, right? It has an equal chance to land on anybody that you're facing, and so AoE seems to be the best way to go about it. I want to kind of give you an example of how I would use this in the arena, and actually how I currently use this in Arena. This will be a good example right here. So when I do this, I like to take a couple of different champions. So one, I'm going to use Manaya because she pairs so well with my Coronar, and I believe this is the one. I have one Coronar in a stun set and one in a actually I'm gonna have to check it out. I have one in a stun set and I have one in a provoke set. So that one's in provoke, this one's in stun. As you can see here, I've kitted them out just the same as I normally would. Lots of HP, good crit rate, great crit damage, good accuracy because I want him to land his own debuffs and solid speed. So that's kind of the same thing I'm going to be doing there. Usually I run them together. But for this example, let me just run one on its own, and you guys can kind of see exactly, what this means as far as, import and using it in the game. So we'll go ahead and do my normal speed thing. So I'm probably not going to win this fight. That's not really the point. I just kind of want to show you guys what this stun set can do. Oh man, they're faster than us. This is really bad. Really bad example. Really bad example. All right, this one doesn't work. This one doesn't work. All right, I need somebody that I'm faster than to really show how this works. Let's try this one more time here. We can do it with these guys. This seems fine. Hopefully this works out. But one of the reasons why we want to do this is the more attacks we get, the more chances to proc these buffs, the better we're going to be. So for me, I'm a big fan of using Coronar in a stun set because obviously he's going to be able to, every time he gets hit, he's going to counterattack, and that gives him another chance to land that debuff, which is just fantastic. And that's what we're looking for here. So you can go ahead and sleep Sify. We don't need to bother her right now. And let's just wait for one of these guys to attack us. There we go. And you can see, there goes a counterattack. We didn't get a stun that time. It's only an 18% chance, so it's not like, every time we're going to be able to get something. And this is actually a bad team too, unfortunately. You can try it again, though. These guys are not, they're not playing nice. Well, let's go ahead and hit here, and you can see we got the stun right there on Siphi, and that just provides a ton of control. When we lock Siphi down, that means they're not getting those buffs out, they're not getting that speed out, and we continue to get those counterattacks as we get, you know, as we get the attempts out there, right? That's what we need, are the attempts to hit. And so the more we get, the more we go. There we go. We should have another counterattack coming. That was his counterattack for the sleep. His mastery proc. Here we go. And there he goes. We got another stun on Siphi, and then she went down. Now, Siphi, you notice, resisted the block, I think it was the initial provoke from Coronar. She has high resistance, but we're still able to stun her because the stun set doesn't need accuracy. That's the best part about it. And so that's kind of the whole point of his kit. Now, it's not just Coronar, right? Like, we can do it with a variety of champions. And I've used it in a variety of champions, especially in Doom Tower, trying to progress through those secret rooms. Using it is really good. You can see we got another stun there on what's his name? Tormund. And it's great. You know, stun is the strongest debuff in this game because they're completely locked out. They can't do anything. Their turn ends. There's really no real cure for it. So get as many options, as many chances to land that as possible. You want to bring in somebody that has AoE effectiveness, right? So you want to give them attack after attack after attack, and hit as many of them as possible. With an 18% chance to land, I mean, you're getting 1 in every 6 attacks, basically. So single target doesn't make a lot of sense, but when you can do it as an AoE, it makes a lot more sense. And give you an example of that, and to show you a few of the champions, I'm going to go into campaign. Now, there's 4 rare champions that I think are especially good with this. And because they have AoEs on their A1 skill, that means it's always available. You can basically just spam it. But they all bring a little bit something different to the table as well. And as always, you still need a full team to be successful. Like, I'm going to show something here, and it's not going to be super, super effective, but it's going to give you a good idea of how you can use stun champions. And when you bring one in conjunction with some of the other champions, it works really, really well. So I'm going to go into Nightmare so that we don't just kill people right off the bat. And basically, the champions I want to talk about, Soulbond Bowyer, Fellhound, and Abyssal. And then there's one other champion I want to look at really quick and kind of point out. And he's actually the best one of the bunch. So let me kind of talk about these 3 first, and then we'll go to the last one here. So Soulbond Bowyer is just a phenomenal champion, if you know. She's a great nuker in the game. And her big thing, not only does she have the crit rate aura, but she has an additional 25% to crit on all of her skills. All of her skills. So it's very easy to build her damage-wise. Not to mention, she has a skill here that can fully deplete a target's turn meter, which is phenomenal. Not to mention this one, which will ignore 75% of the target's defense. So she can hit really, really hard. She's very good as a single target hitter in Arena. But she also has an AoE on her A1 skill. And she still hits decently hard, so you can build this with stun. And I use this for some of those Doom Tower secret rooms to get through them earlier. I'll be doing it again. And now she's not fully built out, right? There's a lot of stuff at level 12. The artifacts aren't even rolled up. This is just an example for the stun set, and the stun set works regardless of the other stats because you don't need accuracy for it. It just happens. So that's kind of what I'm showing right now. The other champion I want to show you, Fellhound. Now, Fellhound is one of those champions that can be your campaign farmer, 6-second farmer, really good at that. Now, for his other bonus is he has a decreased speed on this A1, which is great. When you can combine a debuff with this, even better. So he's a little bit more built out as I've had him for a little while now. He doesn't have great accuracy, but he still lands that. He still lands those stunts. If I built him with accuracy, this would be even better as he's dropping decreased speed and he's dropping stun on those skills, which would be fantastic. In addition, he's one of those kind of other level champions. He's not a hard hitter necessarily. He can be built that way, but that's not his main goal. His main goal is more support. So he brings continuous heal and reflect damage. He brings a block damage on one ally. These are skills that are really, really useful. And then the other champion I want to talk about, I don't even have the level 60 yet, is going to be Abyssal. Now, Abyssal's phenomenal. It's got an AoE on its A1 with a block buff, debuff. Again, when you can bring additional stuff with it, it's really, really nice. But he also has a heal on his A2, an AoE heal, which is great, and increased defense and increased attack buff on his A3. He's got a lot of really nice stuff to his kit. Not to mention he's got this like speed aura for faction crypts. So in faction crypts, this is another way to go. Stun sets are really good for that. I have him. He's a little bit better built out than some of the others, but he's still only level 50. He's not mastered. He's not ascended. So this should give you kind of an idea of like what we're talking about here. So let me bring these three in, and I'm just going to show you really quickly on campaign. Now, I'm not going to click auto because I just want to show the A1 skill here, and that's going to be kind of our focus. So we're just A1 there. We got a stun. Boom. Perfect. Fellhound goes. Boom. We got another stun. Excellent. Soulbond Bowyer. Boom. We got another stun. Now, all of a sudden, this enemy team is at our mercy here. And we have some flexibility as for how we want to go about doing things. So I can heal us. I can use increased defense and attack if we wanted to. But we all of a sudden have a little bit more flexibility as to how we go about this. Now, they're starting to come off those stuns. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it up. We got some decreased speeds. Fantastic. We get some heals there. We can actually we still probably go A1 here, just like see. We got another stun out. Perfect. Let's see what he can do. Another stun. This is how you kind of can lock down a team without even having super, super strong champions here, just by, you know, building them out this way. Yeah, we can go ahead and take down somebody's turn meter. If we take down his turn meter, now all of a sudden he's still stunned. Ain't nothing he can do about it, which is great. So we can just go ahead and continue to avalanche with our A1 skills here. And because we have defensive mastery, she's getting that counter in, which is fantastic. That's always a good thing. Still getting those decreased speeds out. We can continue healing with Reliquary Tender there. And this one we can ignore defense and try and actually hurt somebody. Boom. Big hit right there. We're still getting those AoEs. It's okay that she goes down. Reliquary can bring her back up. And because we have those champions stunned, we don't have to worry about them. We're still doing really good stuff here. And we're still in charge of this fight, which is the whole point. Now we can start doing those AoEs, see if we can't get some more stuns. It's not an easy fight. Like, I tried this earlier, we lost, but you can see the effect that this can have. Just placing those stuns at the right times can be super, super effective in locking down enemies. And that's pretty much our whole goal here, is to kill them. And if we can lock them down, that gives us a better chance of killing them. So that's kind of the whole goal with this, right? Now, we're not always going to get the stun. It is only an 18% chance to land. So that's the other part we have to kind of keep in mind, is that it's not a panacea. We're not going to magically win everything, but it can make it a lot easier for us. And one way you typically will do this is you'll bring in a stun champion with a variety of other, damage dealers. So they're not the only one out there hitting hard, doing damage. They're just one of the crew. And that usually works pretty well. So this, you can see, this is just going to continue on like this. Now, the thing is, it's an A1 skill. So if I click auto, the champions are going to start using their more advanced skills or other skills. But now that they're stunned, we actually have a chance and an opportunity to do that on our own, which is great. And we go back to that A1 right there. Perfect. And we keep doing it, trying to get those stuns out. We can revive Soulbound, and hopefully she'll go fast enough. Yes, she does. Now we can try and just take somebody out. That's one way. And you notice we still got the stun out there. It's not like we can't do that. It can just be a little bit more difficult is all. So this is, one of those ways that you can go about making your team work, getting through content, especially campaign, getting through dungeon waves, using this kind of stuff really good in faction wars. And we're on to the second wave. Now, Bellower is my 6-second farmer, so I didn't kit him out. That's why I didn't bring him in. But you can see what happens. You want to have those AoE skills. Well, the best part about Bellower is all of his skills are AoE. All of them. They're fantastic. And he brings a lot of utility on top of that. Block cooldowns on the A1. Decreased speed on the A2. Decreased attack, decreased defense on the A3. These all become super, super strong skills when you can put stun on it. You build him with accuracy, don't worry about the damage, and all of a sudden, not only is he going to lock down the enemy team, but he's going to debuff them so they can't do anything even when they aren't stunned. And that becomes incredibly helpful. If you're trying to advance through faction war, especially Ogre, and if you're actually struggling with some of those rare secret dungeons in Doom Tower, or just normal Doom Tower, Bellower can be a great addition to lock down the enemy team, locking down their skills, stunning them, slowing them down, and making them vulnerable and hit less hard with that decreased defense and decreased attack. He is one of the best champions in this game, and combining with the stun set just makes him that much better. So the stun set can be super helpful. Now, is this going to be great for End game players, probably not. This is going to be targeted for early game and mid-game players primarily. Now, the reason why I say it's not for end-game players is a stun set isn't great in Arena usually. You often don't get enough attacks to really fully utilize it. I'm very fortunate that I have Coronar paired with a Manaya. That makes it a very viable combination, but typically that's not the case. What you're going to want to use this for is dungeon progression. You're going to want to use it for faction war progression, even Doom Tower progression. That's where it's going to be useful. Campaign progression is another great way to go about it, as you saw right there. If you have a Bellower, this is an ideal champion to put this on. There's lots of examples and videos of people actually advancing their accounts using Bellower in a stun set specifically, and that's the reason why. So I definitely, this is a great thing for us. I think it's a really nice addition from Plarium, obviously giving us that opportunity to target dungeons for specific sets. This is a great opportunity for that. I'm sure we all can't wait for that 2 times for lifesteal in the dragon or for speed. Either one of those will get a lot of people doing a lot of dungeon runs for those. But this is going to be useful for a lot of those side sets, right? I don't run ice golems because there's only a couple sets that I really care about. Resist, crit rate, and just a little bit of taunt. Well, when we have a 2 times event, all of a sudden it makes it much more valuable to go farm that. I don't farm a lot of Fire Knight either because my runs are really long and I can never get the sets I want. Well, if we can get a 2 times Savage, 2 times Immunity, or like this, a 2 times stun set, all of a sudden now it becomes something that I'm very interested in farming to get that kind of gear. So I think this is going to be a really good thing for the community in general. I'm really looking forward to this. And hopefully this becomes something that they put into the regular rotation of dungeon runs. I think that'd be good for us in general, good for the game, and a lot of fun too. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If it was, great, hit the like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I do have a game on video. There's a lot of epic champions that are phenomenal with a stun set. So I'm going to have a little video, game on video, showing those champions. And I think that if you have, it's even better on a lot of these epic champions. Specifically to dealing with Knight Revenant faction war, it became crucial for me to pass that. So I'm going to share with you those champions and how I went through that faction in particular, who I put stun sets on to get through it. And it'll be useful in other areas too, obviously. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Yeah, until next we meet. I'm the Deadwood Jedi.